Okay, so this topic is going to be really helpful for you if you're the one that's nervous to raise a particular topic with somebody, have a conversation, because either you feel awkward in yourself about something that you need to say, or you're worried about how someone's going to react to what you've got to say, either of those scenarios. So this might be something like, performance reviews at work, or asking for a pay rise, asking for anything from anyone, to be honest, because a lot of people have challenges asking for what they need and want. It might be raising something in a relationship where maybe you're not happy and you feel like change needs to happen. It might even be a breakup conversation. It might be asking somebody out, I don't know. But it's going to be widely applicable, okay? So let's step through. It's going to be about like 8 to 10 steps. So helpful if you've got a pen and paper, and you can pause the video at any stage just to write down and reflect. And I really want you to utilize this. If you nail this kind of habit in terms of this approach, you'll be able to use it all the time. You won't even have to think about it really once you learn these steps. So the first thing is I really want you to think about being really clear on why you need to even have this conversation. A lot of people are just engaging in stuff and they're not really understanding their clear motivator about why this requires my time, my energy, and my effort to even go here with this person in this conversation, okay? So you want to look at why it's important to you and why you believe the other person needs to hear this for their benefit as well, okay? So that would be the first step. The next step is you want to be really clear on the outcome you want. If you're going to have a difficult conversation, you want to be, it's not easy to do that. So you want to be invested only in something where you actually know you need to do it and that there's an actual outcome you're trying to achieve. It's like trying to hit a target and you don't even know what the target is. It's just not a good way of operating. You don't want to be operating in your life in any area without knowing the outcome you want. It's like fundamentals 101 of success is know the outcome that you want. Don't even start something until you know what it is that you're trying to achieve as the result, okay? Because you've got to have somebody that you're navigating to. Even if that outcome kind of looks a little bit different once you get closer and you alter it and it evolves as you move along, you've got to start from a point of some level of understanding about what outcome you want to achieve. So for example, in a relationship conversation, you might want to relay to somebody that there's a particular thing that they do that really upsets you and that it's really important for you that they make an effort to not do that. That's an outcome. You might want to request a pay rise at work. That is an outcome. You don't even have to necessarily make the outcome to get the pay rise because you don't have necessarily full control over that, but the outcome might be to successfully communicate that you want a pay rise and why you want it. So those are just a couple of little examples. The third thing you want to think about is what is the other person's level of awareness of this topic, of what you're going to raise, and their level of receptivity to it. Is the other person likely to be aware that this is an issue or that this is something that you need or want? Is this other person likely to be at all receptive to having this conversation? You only want to ask that for yourself just so that you know. The more you know, the more clear you are in yourself, the more confident you will be. No clarity, no confidence. Okay, and I made a whole video on nailing your confidence. That's on my channel and on my website if you want to have a look at that. But no clarity, no confidence. That's why we do this prep work before you have the difficult conversation, so that you empower yourself. The more you're clear, the more confident you will be, okay? So are they aware of this general kind of thing that's going on in the relationship? Do they have any idea there's a problem? At work, is your boss likely to be surprised you're asking for a pay rise? And then what is the level of receptivity of this person? Are they genuinely going to be open to it? Do you think they're the kind of person that typically shuts down and closes off? Where are they at? The more you understand them, the more empowered you are to work with them as the aware person coming into this conversation to make it work for both of you. Okay, the fourth step is you want to understand what their likely needs and wants are. I did a video on negotiation, 9 powerful steps for negotiating, and you can check that out as well. I'll put links to it. But this is a really important one. What everybody's doing is they're wandering around in life and they're all about themselves. Like, what do I need? What do I want? How am I going to say it? How am I going to make them understand what I want? But really, The powerful place to be as a conscious human being is when you enter any situation, you understand that there's multiple parties involved and you get as interested in what is going on for them as you are interested in what is going on for you. Why? Because when you understand your audience, be it your boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, father, boss, workmate, employee, whatever, when you understand your audience, you know how to communicate with them, and you're not coming in it from a me perspective, and people feel that coming a mile away, and it's not very nice. You know that you don't really love being in conversations where someone's coming at you and it's all about them. So you don't want to be doing that to other people. So you really want to understand, if I thought about this person and the situation they're in and their level of awareness of this and their level of receptivity to this, what's going on in their world right now? Like, what do they want and what do they need, and where is their mind likely to be at in relation, like generally, or in relation to me specifically? So just have a think about that. Then you want to, in preparation for your conversation with this person, you really want to enter the conversation with good energy. And what I mean by that is your mindset and your attitude is everything. Like, if you are in a negative thought pattern about this being difficult and this being awkward, and you feel like they might attack you and get upset at you, or they might judge you or might laugh at you or whatever, though, if those are your thoughts, you're essentially depressing yourself, and your mind is going, oh, okay, we're in danger, we're unsafe, okay, this is going to be awful. And then your whole body responds, literally, your physical body responds, and you go into this pattern. Now, your beliefs, thoughts, feelings are genuine energy cycling in your body, and you've got an energy field beyond your body. And when you enter a room with another person, even if they don't understand what's happening, they are feeling and sensing your energy field. And if you are on edge, uneasy, defensive, anything at all going on in your mind, it will come across in your energy. And what happens is people receive your energy first, and they will react to it without even realizing it before you've even had your conversation. So it's really important that you enter a conversation from a position of peace, of calm, maybe of confidence, maybe of just openness, but something of that nature. Now, the way you're going to do that is you're going to feed your mind messages that are helpful. So before you go and have this difficult conversation, you are going to either use affirmations or simple positive self-talk, and you're going to say, I am capable of having this conversation. I am an open communicator. I am open to this conversation going well. I do my best at all times. It is more than enough. I see this conversation going well. I visualize in my mind this conversation going well. The other person is hearing me. I speak clearly. I share my point. I feel great. I'm amazing. I'm confident. Whatever you need to hear to make yourself go into that situation with good energy. You don't want to be rehearsing disaster beforehand. You want to be rehearsing success, because that's going to make all the difference to how you feel and how they receive your energy when you start up. So having got yourself in that position, here's something that I really love to do, and I've shared this with a few of my coaching clients, and they have used this, I know, in their personal lives and in their workplaces and find it great as well. And it's so simple, it's just a little visualization. So before you literally go and have a conversation, you send ahead of you into the room white light, okay? And you imagine white light as like unconditional love, representative divinity, representative of your soul, representative of their soul, because really what you've got here is two little personality selves wanting to get outcomes and trying to figure your way through life at work or socially or whatever's going on. But really there's a much bigger picture, okay? And there's some powerful unseen energy going on, okay? Quantum energy. It's so much bigger and more powerful than you and your little body and your little mind and what you want to achieve. So call upon it, okay? And the white light is just representative and symbolic of that. And the power of your intent and your visualization is dramatic. So I want you to imagine that you're, before you go, like 5 minutes before or the night before or whatever, visualize sending light ahead of you into the space where you're going to have the conversation and to the person you're going to be speaking to. I want you to imagine surrounding that person and yourself with like a bubble, an orb of white light, okay? And I want you to just hold that image in your mind. They're calm and you're calm, and there's white light surrounding them and white light surrounding you, and the light in this space where you're having this conversation is incredibly bright, okay? Power of intent, so awesome. The next thing you want to do is completely and utterly let go of controlling how the conversation goes, which sounds really odd, but you've prepared, you know why you're having this conversation, you know why it's important to you, you know what outcome you want to achieve, why you're even addressing this and where you're navigating to. You kind of know where they're at, or you've put some thought into that. Now, when you enter the conversation, it's two-way. There's two people going on here, so you can't control it. But you want to imagine that the highest and best outcome is available for you and the other person, and to remember that there's a flow to life, there's a flow to the universe, and you're a part of that flow, and you don't have to control everything. You actually do benefit if you allow a natural unfolding. Okay, allow other people the space to be how they need to be, to say what they want to say, to feel whatever they're feeling. Allow yourself the space to just say what you need to say and accept however that is received or not received, and let it go. Because difficult conversations will only become more difficult if you try to control it or push it or force it, because again, that energy when it's coming at you makes you want to defend yourself. So if it does that to you, it's going to do it to another person. So you really want it's like a surrender process. I know my outcome, I'm fully intent on getting there, I know exactly how I'm going to navigate there and what I need to be saying, and then I let go. Because that's how the flow works, okay? That's how the flow of the universe works, and that's what I'm going to do. And that release will allow your energy to be much more relaxed and powerful when you're communicating than being kind of wound up and tight, which generally makes people forget what they want to say anyway. So that would be the next thing. Okay, the opening point that you want to start with when you're having a difficult conversation, irrespective of what you're going to say next, is you lead with assurance to the other person. What does it mean to lead with assurance? You start the conversation by giving a message to the other person or people involved that assures them of some connection that you have with them, okay? It is going to be a loving, compassionate, generous, kind starting point. You're going to create that so that you put the other person at ease, so they understand what is most important to you before you open up whatever the difficult conversation is. For example, in a relationship, if you're trying to get somebody to alter their behavior in the relationship with you, you're only having that conversation because you want the relationship to be better, which means that you must want the relationship, which must mean that you love the person, otherwise you wouldn't want to continue the relationship. Therefore, you begin the conversation with, I love you. I love you. I love being in relationship with you. You're really important to me. And there is something that I need to talk to you about. Because I love you so much, because you're that important to me, this is a conversation that I need to have with you. And then you begin the conversation. If you're asking for a pay rise, you would begin like this. I absolutely love my job. I love working here. I see an amazing future for myself here. I've learned a lot. I really enjoy having these people as my colleagues, or you as my manager, or whatever it is. And I've been thinking about my future here and seeing my contribution. And here's what I was thinking in regards to my position and my salary, or my position and my hourly pay, or whatever it is. Okay? You always lead with assurance, because when you're on the other side of the equation and someone comes in to have a conversation, you kind of want the scene to be set with the bigger picture importance that's going on before you nail down into one niggle that you've got. Okay, that's what it's like. You're laying out the big rosy picture before you nail the niggle that you've got, because you're setting them at ease. And it's a really important way to start the conversation rather than diving straight in to the most difficult point. The next step is that you want to start, when you actually begin having the difficult part of the conversation, by sharing why it's important to you for you to have this conversation and why it's important for you to raise this. You do that so that the person on the receiving end understands that this is not trivial. Nobody has a difficult conversation that's trivial. If it was trivial, you'd just shake it off and move on. If it's difficult, you're seriously invested in wanting to have this and be willing to put effort in and put yourself through the awkwardness. So you want to explain to them that it's that important to you, so that they don't start out thinking, oh, this is nothing and it's not really that important and I can just shirk this off. At work, if this pay rise is really important to you, then you want it to be clear to the employer or this person in this relationship or friendship wants to be very clear that this is actually a really important issue for you. And you don't have to like load it with a lot of heaviness. It's just to explain, this is not an easy conversation for me to have with you, but it's that important to me, and this is that important to me that I really wanted to have it with you. And that will be like, okay, that to me, if someone said that to me, I'm all ears. I give all of my attention to that because they have told me that that's how important it is. So you see how critical it is that you set yourself up for the conversation with those couple of simple things. And in the final couple of steps, what I would say to you is, now you're going to actually say the difficult thing that you need to talk about. I want you to share the message, not fire your feelings. Here's what people do. They get all worked up about something, and then they go and they fire the message at the person, and they fire all of their uncomfortable feelings at the person, all of their stress, all of their anger, their frustration, their hurt, they're feeling like they're not being paid well enough, they feel like this person's saying things to them and treating them badly, and they're hurt, and instead of I'm hurt, you get anger and frustration and hurt literally hurled at the other person. Or feeling like you're not being rewarded or recognized, and you get frustrated and upset about that, and then that comes across in your message. You don't need to do that. Your words are more powerful when you cut out all of the noise around them, and you are in your clarity and in your confidence as a result, and you directly state what it is that's important to you and what you need, and you've got their attention. You need not fire your emotions with the message. Thinking that emotions add weight to your message is a misperception. They do not. Typically what they'll do is they will shut the other person down. If they have anything coming at them which is low vibe, they will kind of go in defense, and they'll be like, why is this person getting so upset? I had no idea there was a problem. They're not listening anymore. They're not listening to you. They're just trying to self-protect, and they're also thinking of how are they going to get out of this? What are they going to say in order to get around this? You don't want that. So you're going to be calm, clear, centered, and you're just going to state your message with precision. If you need to, you can write notes and you can take them in. If you're having a relationship conversation with your partner or someone in your family, or you're going to pay conversation or a performance review, make notes. Like if it's a difficult conversation, you're on the hot seat and you might not remember everything, but it's important to you, so write it down. Like take notes from this video and write the things down and go in with those things. And you know, there's nothing naff about that. That's awesome. I'm like, oh, this person's prepared. They mean business. They're serious. Okay, so do that if you need to. And finally, when you're sharing a really difficult message with somebody, or you are delivering something you think is difficult, you want to give the person space to respond to you. So you say what needs to be said, and then you allow silence. Because in the silence, they need time to absorb and think. And typically people will jump in and try and fill the silence because it's uncomfortable. Don't do that. Just practice being in silence, like before you go to the meeting. Like imagine sitting in front of a mirror and talking, and then just sitting and zipper and just wait for the response. And that space allows them room to think, room to breathe, and room to reply. However, if you kind of get in a bit of a stalemate and it's awkward and they seem to not be sure and they're not responding, and you feel it necessary, you can offer to leave the message with somebody and say, well, I've said what I needed to share, and now if you like, I can leave it with you. You can take some time to think about it. You know, boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, father, brother, sister, friend, you know, it's been not an easy thing for me to share this with you, but I can leave this with you, and maybe you'll take some time to have a think about it, and you can come back and let me know what your thoughts are, and we can work out a way forward. Or likewise, you can present something to your boss if you're wanting a pay rise, or you're having a performance review and you had to raise an uncomfortable situation that happened at work. You can raise it and say, look, I'd really love to get your thoughts on this, your feedback, your input on it, but I appreciate maybe you might need some time to think about that, or consult with other people in the workplace if that's the case. That's totally fine. You're showing goodwill by not putting pressure on them if you feel intuitively that the situation calls for that. So I hope this has been helpful. There's been a lot of steps to work through, but it's something that will really help you in future if you learn to go with this approach for difficult conversations. Try it out next time you have to have an awkward or difficult chat with somebody. And please do share this with people, maybe in your workplace or in your family or friends, if you think anyone is kind of shying away from having that difficult conversation and maybe needs a little bit of help with how to prepare and how to communicate. You know, being an open communicator and being willing to open up your mind and heart to other people is such a powerful skill, and you've got it in you. You're more than capable of doing it. You've just got to practice. Okay, so I send you my absolute best wishes. Thank you for listening. If you're here on YouTube, I would love for you to give the video a thumbs up if it's been helpful, and to subscribe so that we can stay in touch. If you're here on my website, please do make sure you sign up to my email community so you get all the news and updates that I'm sending out with the free online classes we're holding and other goodies that we're releasing. And I look forward to being in touch with you again soon.